Of all the truths in relationships, this one often goes unnoticed. Many women struggle when a man stops prioritizing them. You've likely experienced it firsthand, pouring your energy into her, giving her your full attention, and making her the centerpiece of your life. Then, when you step back, reduce your texts, and shift your focus inward, an interesting transformation occurs. Suddenly, her sense of balance is disrupted. She feels the shift, and a subtle yet powerful desperation begins to brew. The hard truth? It's often when a man pulls away that a woman's desire for him intensifies. This isn't necessarily because her feelings for him have deepened. It's rooted in the discomfort of losing her grip on the dynamic. When the usual stream of validation dries up, when the predictable pursuit halts, something shifts within her. She begins to question, why the change? Why did he stop? It's not always about emotional connection. More often, it's about control. The loss of influence creates a void that she instinctively seeks to fill. In this reversal, the tables turn. The one who was once sought after becomes the pursuer. And in that moment, a fundamental truth emerges. When a woman senses distance from a man who no longer grants easy access to his attention, she becomes driven by the need to reclaim it. But here's where it gets real. The chase that follows isn't necessarily fueled by genuine affection or love. It's often a reaction to losing validation, a bid to restore a sense of power. When a man stops playing along, the script flips. The rules change. Now she's the one striving for his presence, his time, and his approval. If you're tired of constantly proving your worth, of chasing after someone who takes your attention for granted, it's time to make a crucial pivot. Your attention has value. Stop giving it away without expecting it to be earned. Step back and watch how quickly her priorities shift when she feels your interest fading. In the realm of dating, there is no greater move than recognizing your own power and using it wisely. Number 1. The very instant you take a step back, she steps forward. When you stop chasing a woman, her instincts kick in, and suddenly the dynamic shifts. Constant pursuit, frequent texts, and unending availability may seem like the path to winning her over, but they actually reveal predictability. You've set the tone, always eager, always accessible, always there. The mystery is gone, and with it, the excitement. But here's where everything changes. When you halt the chase, the game rewrites itself. Women are drawn to challenge and intrigue, not because of manipulation, but because the unknown stirs their curiosity. By no longer being so readily available, you create a scenario where she must work for your attention, and that's when desperation creeps in. She'll feel the void of your absence. When a man offers constant access, she grows complacent. She knows she can summon his attention whenever she desires, and with certainty comes comfort. However, the moment you withdraw, questions flood her mind. Why hasn't he reached out? Why isn't he responding immediately? That uncertainty sparks a shift. Her desire intensifies because what was once secure is now slipping beyond reach. Imagine this. You've been consistently texting her first, always the one initiating contact and making yourself available at a moment's notice. Then, one day, you pull back. You stop being the first to reach out. You respond on your own time. Within days, she starts to notice the difference. Her messages increase. She begins to check in more often, looking for signs of that attention she previously took for granted. The tables have turned. This shift isn't theoretical, it's reality. Once you stop chasing, the balance of power tilts. She feels the need to reclaim your attention because it's no longer guaranteed. What was predictable now feels elusive. In the art of relationships, the true strength lies in creating a dynamic where your value is recognized. And the surest way to amplify your worth? Step away from the chase. When she's no longer in control, the ball is in your court, and that's where the real power resides. Number 2. She only values you when you're hard to get. The truth is often uncomfortable. A woman places the most value on a man when he's not easily attainable. If you're always available, always showing up, or constantly sending messages, she will begin to take you for granted. Accessibility without boundaries removes the element of effort, and with less effort comes less appreciation. Women instinctively desire what feels earned, not what's handed to them without challenge. When you position yourself as someone who is perpetually ready to please, the intrigue disappears. The chase ends before it even begins, and soon the connection becomes mundane, predictable, and uninspiring. The element that keeps things alive, the thrill of pursuit, is lost. Creating distance, however, introduces a different energy. When your time and attention aren't endlessly accessible, curiosity sparks. She begins to wonder about your life outside of her. What's keeping you busy, why you aren't responding instantly, and why the dynamics have shifted. This curiosity is the fuel that reignites her desire. Imagine a scenario where you've been in constant contact with her, texting frequently throughout the day. Now picture pulling back, taking longer to respond, not being as readily available, and even letting some messages sit unread. Initially, she might feel confusion, but that confusion quickly turns into intrigue. Her mind starts racing with questions, and that mental shift transforms into renewed attraction. She becomes more invested in winning back your attention. The shift is undeniable. Once you create space, she feels compelled to step up her efforts. You're no longer just another man she can reach without effort. Instead, you've become someone whose presence is earned, someone with purpose and priorities outside of her. That's when she starts valuing you for the challenge you represent, recognizing that your attention isn't something she can casually possess. When she realizes you're no longer a guarantee, she begins to chase with urgency, driven by a desire to reclaim what was never hers to control freely. Number 3. She starts chasing you aggressively. When a woman senses your interest fading, her behavior can change in striking ways. Women are naturally attuned to shifts in attention and scarcity, especially in romantic dynamics. The moment you step back and withdraw, it activates a deep-seated fear of losing something she subconsciously values. Suddenly, her motivation surges, and she starts pursuing the connection that seemed secure just moments ago. Here's the core truth behind this reaction. People place higher value on what feels elusive. Your disinterest creates an emotional gap she instinctively wants to fill. If she once believed she had your full devotion, your decision to step back reverses the entire power dynamic. Control slips from her hands, sparking a desire to reclaim it through action. The pursuit might take many forms, but its essence is unmistakable. She might flood you with messages, initiate phone calls, or find ways to appear where she knows you'll be. Her tone softens, her words become sweeter, and she goes out of her way to cater to your needs. This transformation is driven by her urge to re-establish the connection she fears losing. Picture this scenario. You've been consistently initiating texts and calls. Over time, her responses become predictable, only coming when it suits her. Frustrated, you decide to stop reaching out. Days pass in silence. At first, she may appear unfazed, but soon curiosity wins. She texts, "Hey, everything okay? Haven't heard from you." If your response remains indifferent, she raises the stakes, sending lighthearted messages or sharing personal stories to lure you back. When that fails, she may escalate with bold invitations or confessions of missing you. This reaction isn't random, it's psychological. By removing your attention, you disrupt her sense of certainty. The resulting absence compels her to reassess her behavior, priorities, and, most importantly, her feelings. She begins to question whether she undervalued your presence, pushing her to make her intentions more explicit. In some cases, her need for reassurance converge on desperation. Your withdrawal forces her to recognize your worth, turning passive indifference into active pursuit. Number 4, she'll try to make you jealous to get your attention. When a woman senses your detachment, she may attempt to spark jealousy as a way to recapture your attention. It's a well-worn strategy that often goes unnoticed until it's already working. She might start dropping subtle hints about other men, perhaps mentioning someone who complimented her, sharing stories of flirtatious encounters, or posting provocative content online designed to catch your eye. This behavior isn't rooted in genuine romantic interest elsewhere. It's about testing the waters of your emotions, trying to gauge whether she still holds sway over your feelings. By eliciting jealousy, she aims to draw you back into a reactive state, proving to herself that you're still invested. The entire play is centered around reclaiming the validation she felt slipping away. Jealousy-seeking behavior often begins with minor comments or social media actions meant to be noticed. She may casually bring up how much attention she's been getting, or how a colleague's been especially charming. Each word, post, or action is a subtle bait. The goal? To provoke a reaction that confirms her lingering influence. The critical mistake many men make is falling right into this trap, becoming visibly jealous, overly eager, or suddenly working harder to reclaim her interest. This reaction signals vulnerability and reveals that her power over you remains intact. Once she confirms that her tactics work, she regains the upper hand in the emotional dynamic. The real strength lies in restraint. Recognize the game, but refuse to play it. Stay composed and indifferent. Don't question her intentions or react to her provocations. Maintain your focus on your own priorities and refuse to hand her the validation she craves through manipulation. The moment you deny her the reaction she's seeking, her strategy backfires. Without your jealousy to fuel her sense of control, she's left with only the unsettling truth: you're no longer emotionally entangled. In this silence, she confronts the stark reality of your independence. Your calm detachment becomes the ultimate statement of strength, making you even more mysterious and, ironically, more desirable. Number 5. She'll text you more when she senses you don't care. If you've always been the one to initiate conversations, you might notice she starts texting you more once you pull back. This response stems from a sense of uncertainty and the realization that she could be losing your interest. Women are naturally drawn to dynamics where attention isn't guaranteed. When you stop being overly available, it disrupts the predictability of the relationship. She begins to wonder why you're not reaching out, why your energy has shifted, and what's changed. These unanswered questions create a sense of intrigue, making her take the lead in communication. At first, she may send casual messages, checking in or making small talk. But as time goes on, her efforts might intensify. She may start double texting or even asking directly why you haven't been in touch. This pursuit arises not because she suddenly misses you, but because your absence forces her to evaluate the connection and her role in maintaining it. The problem many men face is overextending themselves early in a relationship. They mistake constant communication for showing care, not realizing this can make them appear too accessible and less desirable. When you're always the one initiating, you inadvertently diminish the excitement of the interaction. By stepping back and allowing her to text you first, you shift the power dynamic. You create space for her to recognize your value and put in the effort to keep the communication alive. This approach doesn't mean ignoring her completely. It's about maintaining balance and demonstrating self-respect. Let her experience what it feels like to initiate conversations, to wonder about your availability, and to prioritize keeping the connection alive. This shift not only increases her investment in you, but also reinforces your own sense of worth. A man who respects his time and energy is far more attractive than one who is always chasing. The key takeaway? Stop overextending yourself. Respect your boundaries, focus on your priorities, and let her come to you. When you stop chasing and start valuing yourself, you create the space for her to value you as well. Number 6. She won't respect you until you make her earn your attention. Respect in a relationship isn't something freely given. It's earned when boundaries are in place. When a man is always available, always sacrificing his time and goals for a woman, he unintentionally teaches her that his attention requires no effort. This dynamic undermines respect because, psychologically, people place higher value on what they must earn. When a woman senses she doesn't have to compete for your time or energy, she may enjoy the convenience but won't feel compelled to respect you. If you're always ready to drop your plans at a moment's notice, it sends a clear signal. Your priorities revolve around her, not around your own ambitions or self-growth. Over time, this dynamic leads to imbalance, where your generosity is met with diminished appreciation. Respect stems from effort and boundaries. A man with standards who prioritizes his own life and goals conveys a powerful message. His time is valuable. This doesn't mean you should ignore her or play manipulative games. It's about understanding your worth and making sure she recognizes it too. When you start pulling back, focusing on your passions, and saying no when her demands clash with your priorities, she's forced to adjust. She'll begin to realize that you're not a man she can easily control. This realization prompts a change in her behavior. She may go out of her way to seek your attention, show more affection, or try harder to accommodate your needs. This shift is her attempt to regain the value she now perceives as slipping away. A man who respects himself and makes others earn his attention commands a different level of attraction. She will appreciate the moments you share because they become rarer and more meaningful. In contrast, if you make yourself too available, she views your presence as a given rather than a privilege. In relationships, scarcity of attention amplifies desire. When she has to compete for your energy, her investment grows and her respect for you deepens. She begins to see you not as a backup or convenience, but as a man with purpose and self-respect, qualities that naturally make her want to chase and value your affection. The truth is simple. Respect is built when you show her you are a man of substance, someone with boundaries, and someone who won't sacrifice his mission for fleeting validation. When she earns your attention, her affection will naturally follow. Number 7. She overcompensates by showering you with affection. When a woman feels you slipping away, she may respond with a surge of affection. This sudden change can seem dramatic, especially if her previous behavior was indifferent. The shift feels unnatural because it often comes too late, after the emotional investment has already dwindled. A woman who begins to shower you with compliments, touch, and attention out of the blue isn't necessarily doing so from a place of newfound love. Instead, she's reacting to a perceived loss of control. She may suddenly notice your hard work, your humor, or even your appearance, things she ignored before. Her actions extend beyond words. She might cook your favorite meal, engage in your hobbies, or offer unexpected help to win back your attention. While this flurry of affection can feel flattering, it raises a significant question. Why now? If she wasn't this attentive when it mattered, what has changed? The difference isn't about her discovering your value. It's about the fear of losing her grip on you. Many men experience inner conflict in these moments. Her affection can reignite feelings of hope, tempting you to reconsider her place in your life. However, skepticism often lingers. Genuine respect and connection develop when both partners show consistent effort, not when affection becomes a reactive ploy to regain lost power. Deciding whether to trust her renewed enthusiasm requires careful observation. True change is marked by sustained, authentic actions, not temporary gestures. If her affection fades again once she feels secure, it confirms that her motives were rooted in control rather than commitment. The takeaway: a man of substance doesn't chase affection or react to sudden shifts in behavior. He values consistency, self-respect, and actions that align with genuine care. Recognize the difference between love born from connection and affection driven by fear, and choose wisely. Number 8. She'll start acting like she doesn't care. When you stop showing interest, a woman may start acting indifferent. This tactic is designed to shift the dynamic in her favor. Women often use this psychological move to gauge your investment, subtly testing how far you're willing to go to keep her. Many men fall into the trap of panic when faced with this cold behavior. In their fear of losing her, they increase their efforts, chasing harder and giving more attention. But this is exactly what she hopes for: confirmation of her power over you. The more you pursue, the more she pulls away, and the more control she gains. Indifference in this context isn't about true disinterest. It's a strategic move to see how you'll respond. It's a test of your emotional strength and self-control. If you react by chasing, you reveal neediness and insecurity. However, if you maintain your composure and resist the urge to chase, you demonstrate confidence and independence, two qualities that reignite attraction. The key is understanding that validation from her isn't necessary for your self-worth. When you stay focused on your purpose and keep your emotions in check, the balance shifts. She will begin to wonder why her tactics didn't work, questioning her assumptions and reflecting on your value. Men who pass this test don't play games. They remain rooted in their sense of self. They don't react to every emotional push and pull. They show they are men of substance, not easily swayed by fleeting tactics. Remember, attraction grows when there's a sense of mystery and challenge. By not chasing when she acts indifferent, you stand apart from the crowd. It makes her realize that your value isn't dependent on her approval, and it's this realization that draws her back, not because you ran after her, but because you stood firm. Number 9. She becomes overly sweet and apologetic. When a woman realizes you've lost interest, she may suddenly become overly sweet and apologetic. This behavior often feels like a complete turnaround, but it's frequently more about control than sincerity. She's trying to regain what she feels slipping away, not necessarily because of newfound respect, but because she's losing the comfort of having you at her disposal. This tactic can be confusing. Her sudden warmth, apologies, and promises to change can feel genuine, but you need to recognize the difference between authentic transformation and damage control. Men often mistake this reaction for true change, allowing themselves to be swayed by words rather than watching for consistent actions. The reality is, if her behavior shifts only when she senses a loss, it's likely a temporary fix designed to restore the balance in her favor. She had every opportunity to treat you well before, but didn't feel compelled to. Your constant availability made it easy for her to become complacent. Now that you've pulled back, she's scrambling to regain the control she once had. Here's what separates smart men from the rest. They don't listen to words, they evaluate actions over time. Apologies are simple, but true respect and change require sustained effort. If she's serious about making things right, she will show it through a pattern of consistent respect, effort, and appreciation, not just in moments of fear or desperation. This is a turning point where your self-respect comes into play. Set clear boundaries and expectations. If you let her back into your life without seeing real change, you risk repeating the same cycle of being taken for granted. A woman who truly values you won't just say she's sorry, she'll show it every day through her behavior. Remember, desperation can create temporary sweetness, but true respect and care are earned and proven. Don't settle for surface-level affection motivated by fear of loss. Demand better, and if she's unwilling to rise to that standard, walk away knowing your worth. Number 10. She starts talking about the future. When a woman senses she's losing your interest, she may suddenly bring up talk of the future, marriage, kids, long-term plans, hoping to reignite your emotions. This isn't always a heartfelt epiphany. Often, it's a calculated move to anchor you emotionally and make you question your decision to step back. She's using your natural inclination for stability and long-term vision against you, painting a dream of tomorrow to distract you from today's unresolved issues. Here's where many men falter. You've long desired this level of commitment, so when she finally says all the right things, it's tempting to believe her. But the timing matters. Why didn't she bring this up when everything was going smoothly? Why now, when your attention is waning? It's easier to dangle a perfect future than to fix the core problems that led to the distance in the first place. This is your moment to pause and assess with clarity. Are her actions reflecting real change, or is she using promises of a future to regain control? A solid relationship is built on respect, trust, and shared values, not desperation or fear of losing someone. If her behavior aligns with her words and shows consistent effort to improve the connection, she might be genuine. But if it's all talk without meaningful action, it's just another tactic to keep you from walking away. The brutal truth is that desperation kicks in when a woman realizes she might lose control, not when she suddenly discovers your value. If you've always been available, chasing, and fearing her loss, she'll never respect you fully. Respect is earned when you show you're not dependent on her validation to define your worth. Stop chasing women who don't invest equally. If your effort has been one-sided, the power dynamic is against you. The moment you step back, she'll feel the shift and often react in ways designed to reel you back in. But you're worth more than someone's attempt to regain control when it's convenient. Stay grounded. Don't let emotional manipulation cloud your judgment. Build relationships on mutual effort, not on fear of losing what wasn't solid to begin with. If you've experienced this scenario, share your story in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you've handled it and what you've learned. And remember, a man of substance never settles for fleeting attention when he deserves genuine connection. Stay strong and focused, kings.